Year 3. I've been looking for some really good books about predators to read, and I think I've finally found one that I think you might quite like. It's called Harry the Poisonous Centipede by Lynn Banks, and I've had read through it and I think it's quite funny, so I'm going to read you some of it. So I'll start with the first chapter. So it's called About Harry. Harry was a poisonous centipede. You may think that's not a very nice thing to be, but Harry thought it was fine. He'd never been anything else, and he liked being what he was. If you told him centipedes were nasty, scary, creepy crawlies, he would have been very surprised and rather hurt. And if you told him that biting things with poisonous pincers was wrong or cruel, he would probably have told you not to be ridiculous. How else would he get anything to eat, or defend himself from creatures wanting to eat him? Of course, you couldn't have talked to Harry like that, even if you'd met him, because he couldn't have understood you. Harry could only speak to other centipedes in centipedish. In fact, his real name wasn't Harry at all. It was, as nearly as I can write it, Yes, you see the problem at once. There are no vowel sounds in centipedish, just a sort of very faint crackling. What you could do is put in some vowel sounds, some A's, E's, I's, O's and U's. So you could try and say his real name. Then you could call him Hisglittle or Hosglottle or perhaps even Hasglottle. But still you wouldn't be anywhere near the real sound of his name, which is why I call him Harry. He lived in a very hot country, what we call the tropics, with his mother. Now please don't start asking what her name was. Oh no, please. Oh, all right, here goes. It was Bolivlablabachuk, Bovalubachuk, Babolabigchuk. I don't know. Why bother? We'll never get it right. Let's call her Belinda. Belinda was also, of course, a poisonous centipede. A very large one, a good 8 inches long or 20 centimetres, if you want to be metric about it. Just imagine 8 inches of shiny, black, swift-moving centipede, a 20 centipede. Her body was something like a caterpillar's, in segments but covered with hard, shiny, dark stuff, a sort of suit of armour, which is called a cuticle. Now, if you know a bit of Latin, you'll know that centipede means 100 feet. Some kinds of centipedes do have that many, but Harry's kind didn't. Harry and his mother had 21 segments with one pair of legs to each segment, which makes 42 legs each. Quite a lot to keep track of when you think about it, but neither Belinda nor Harry ever did think about it. Any more than you would think how difficult, Harry would have said impossible, it is to move about on 2 legs. They just did it. And did it when they had to very, very fast indeed. Harry didn't actually know just how fast he could run until the dreadful time when, despite his mother's sternest warning, he went up the up pipe. Which is a story I'm going to tell you. When I get round to it, there are some other stories to tell first. I'm going to leave it there and we'll come back to that and see what happens in his next adventure. Maybe you can see if you can find out some information about poisonous centipedes, maybe where they come from and perhaps what they eat and maybe what eats them. And let us know. Thanks for now. Bye.